you're going, the weather doesn't change. I'm well practiced in my craft. Beware the cards! Thunderclap! Back you go!
Are you guys ready? It's time. The Alliance versus Team DK, our first group stage match. This one, a best of one. Game has just begun. I'm LD, he's Luminous, and we are very excited to start off the G1 League LAN Finals. Over $60,000 in total prizes to be awarded over the course of this tournament, and now our first game begins.
Yeah, Alliance arguably the strongest Western team right now, and DK, not known to be the best Chinese, but a very, very powerful Chinese team nonetheless. And look at the bans. It is a Wisp first ban. DK knows what's up. They know that it's a high pickup, at least 40 Europeans, and they will take it out immediately. We're going to see Batrider being banned out, most likely Lifestealer, because sure, the European may not value him as a true auto first pick, but you know the Chinese would.
Yeah, I love the Wisp ban. I think this is what you want to do. We have seen Merlini as well as AUI have both talked about it a lot since they've been here at the house. These Asian teams just don't seem to know how to play against Wisp or use it quite as effectively as the Western ones. It's a hero that just requires a completely different mindset. Not to say they can't use it reasonably well, but it's just not quite as well as the Western team. So why even worry about it? Just ban it, make the game a little bit easier to handle.
Yeah, it definitely shifts your meta, your game sense in terms of when you could gank, when you could make those dive. It's gonna be a Shadow Demon ban coming out from Alliance, so they did their homework as well as expected. No surprises there. And DK have their pick. I imagine it's gonna be the Lifestealer. I don't see anything else that's remotely as vital for. I don't want to say broken, but Lifestealer for DK is a very important piece to pick up.
I do want to mention, I'm just going to throw this out there, that QQQ is actually in the drafting seat. It's generally been Burning who drafts for this team, so I don't know if he's drafting or if he just happens to be in that chair, but just some random interesting thing to note. Lifestealer first pick, we expect this to go to Burning. This is generally a hero that you don't want to give away too often unless you have a game plan for him. There is that Admiral Bulldog Lone Druid in the pool. I imagine they're going to snap it up here because you just do not want to give away the Lone Druid Lifestealer combo, especially not to a Chinese team.
Yeah, there's Chen there in the pool as well, and Aki is really in my opinion, one of the best Chens in the world. A lot of people are talking about how these two teams match up. My personal thing that I'm going to be looking forward to is how the two mid-solo match up. Super, earlier kind of Gods talked about being one of the best mid-solo player in the world. For me, S4 is a mid player from the West that could definitely go toe-to-toe with some of the Chinese super mid-stars.
And I like this response from the Alliance. You mentioned how important the draft would be. They get the good, strong, pushing support in the Leshrac and the Lone Druid. They get a lineup that can group up pretty well, and against a hero like Lifestealer, you generally don't want to be spread out. That's where he gets really scary. So I think so far, so good for the Alliance as far as the draft goes.
Yeah, and also Alliance, or the Western supports, generally pick up things like Bane Elemental, which is fairly decent against both Lone Druid and Lifestealer, whereas the Chinese really ignore the support hero. So don't be surprised if Alliance picks it up, takes the support in the second stage, and really look towards a way to counter Lifestealer. But for now, we're getting the first stage, and I imagine we're going to see a solo mid pick up rather quickly. Something more powerful solo mid like Queen of Pain, Puck, still in the pool.
Yeah. If DK wants to go for something different, there are heroes like Storm in the pool.
Sure.
And if they want to be more aggressive, you Lifestealer Storm. This is a very scary combo if you can have that start. You don't know who the Alliance is going to send mid, and that could be a bit risky because S4 loves to play Puck. I feel like that might be the hero that the Alliance have their eye on, and obviously Storm struggles quite a bit against Puck in the mid lane.
Yeah, we're going to see a Rubik coming up and a Dragonite. I love this Dragonite pick, not only taking away from Alliance, which Loda runs all the time, but giving themselves a very sturdy solo mid as well. He has some of that Magnus-esque effect where he doesn't lose lanes. Sure, he's going to be somewhat underfarmed maybe compared to the other mids, but he's not going to die too much simply because he's so tanky. He's going to be spamming the bottle crow, and he's going to be a decent way to deal with Alliance's kind of frontal push style. Here's the thing, I gotta say, Alliance have to pick up Darkseer here. Not only does it give you good AoE, if you get yourself a free Frost Dragon in the middle of a team fight, that's a big game. Especially on when he's going for like things like Assault Carriers.
Does reasonably well against the Dragonite 1v1 mid, so if they want to go for the Darkseer, I think that's a suitable choice. It's also great against Lifestealer, because you can obviously surge a hero away. They'll go Beastmaster though, and I actually like this a bit better, because what I was about to say is, they don't really have a whole lot of lockdown, and Darkseer doesn't provide you with that. Sure, you've got Vacuum, you've got Wall. These are decent crowd control spells, but they need stuns to take down a hero like Lifestealer, a Dragonite, the Chinese way to build the Dragonite. Sometimes they'll go for the Shadow Blade first, but they always get a pretty early BKB. Like, I'd say 90% of games they'll go for it. So I think this is the right way to go. And Lumi, he's a great pusher too. Synergizes very well with this Lone Druid Leshrac opening. I think a balanced and pretty intelligent draft so far from both teams. I'm not seeing anything I would call a mistake or a risky play.
Yeah, since the Admiral Bulldog is going to be playing the Lone Druid, we're going to see S4 Beastmaster. And generally when he has played Beastmaster in the past, which is pretty rare, I haven't seen it too much, he likes to go for Acceptor first, which is a very decent pickup, increasing your initiation range as well as lockdown range.
Look at this respect to Loda.
Yeah.
They're going to ban out the Phantom Assassin.
I mean,
they've done their research.
They definitely understand why PA is picked up, which is for the survivability against physical carries, which they have 2 so far. And Blur is really a big deal. Also, he's a really great in-lane carry. Simply using Stifling Dagger to set up your Chen stuns, set up your Leshrac splitter. He's actually a great initiator in the laning stage. So they will take her out of the pool. I mean, when have we ever seen PA being banned out on the second stage?
Yeah, it's DK have done their homework. I think that's the thing to say here is they have studied the Alliance. They've watched the replays. I imagine all the teams going into this event have done it. This is basically your preview for the International 3. We can expect every single team as much as possible to specifically prepare for every opponent they face, especially when you get into the main event bracket. So now the Juggernaut actually banned out. by the Alliance, a little bit worried about having those unkillable carries. A Juggernaut, a Lifestealer, a DK. You have all three of these. The Healing Ward would help DK 5-man and take towers, and it also gives them so many laning options. They could throw the Lifestealer in the safe lane. He does actually very well against Lone Druid 1v1. TC has shown that you can dominate an off-lane Lone Druid as a safe lane Lifestealer, and that would set them up for a tri-lane with the Rubik, Juggernaut +1. DK would probably be a wash versus Beastmaster, so I think this Juggernaut ban is very intelligent.
Yeah, I'm also somewhat surprised by the early Beastmaster pickup, because that's generally a hero that you don't see banned out too often, and you can pick it up 4th or 5th. It's kind of like a free pick, and they could have gone for a hero that's maybe a little bit more important, like the PA for themselves. So I'm wondering if there's going to be 2 more kind of even crazier pickups here, or they're going to try to hide some of their supports.
I mean, I feel the PA or the Beastmaster is a little bit more crucial because he's that best remaining lockdown. You can't get Magnus, he was already banned. And who else is there really when it comes to an ultimate that will stun someone through BKB?
Puck's not going to do it.
Yeah, Puck's not going to do it. That's what S4 normally plays, something like the Puck mid. You don't really want a damage dealer like the Templar Assassin when DK have so many very tanky heroes. You want the lockdown, and Enigma's another option, but just not something the Alliance really runs. So I think the Beastmaster was kind of the safer way to go.
Okay, and that's a very, very fair thing to say. We're going to see Alchemist being banned out here. Looks like they're targeting some of Aki's hero, Loda's hero. Loda has a very wide pool of carries. Gyrocopter remains in the pool, and there's always a very interesting thing to talk about Gyrocopter. Some teams, the Chinese teams, pick him up first. Some other Chinese teams ignore it altogether. And let's see if DK will be banning it out as a remaining carry.
Yeah, I mean, I also feel it could work for DK. If they want to run a Rubik, Gyrocopter plus Lina, something like that as a tri-lane, that's a strong tri-lane, lots of damage, good lockdown, can kill a hero like Leshrac in the tri-lane easily if he gets lifted. They have that setup stun. That's my one concern for the Alliance. They don't really have a setup stun for their tri-lane if they're expecting DK to go aggressive. And truth be told, this looks like an aggressive tri-lane for DK. I feel probably Lifestealer safe lane versus the Lone Druid, Dragon Knight mid, and then Rubik +2 in that bottom lane. And I think for DK, that's the way to do it. Because if you don't, Alliance have such a good death ball mid game. Before Lifestealer and Dragon Knight really farm their items, Alliance needs a few less items to start pushing. You get the Lone Druid Bear, maybe you get Phase Boots, work towards your Armlet. Beastmaster has a point or two in Inner Beast, and you have Edict. You could start muscling the towers down right then.
If DK don't have enough AoE. So far they have Fable, they have Dragon Breath, or Breath of Fire, depending what you call it.
Right, a decent amount so far.
Yeah, and it's easy for them to pick up something else. They're going to ban out Luna, which is, well, we kind of forgot about this hero, the aura stacking between the Beastmaster, between the Luna, whether if she decides to go Helm and pick up another creep. That's a lot of sick push, especially when Chen is left in the pool. So good job on DK in pointing this one out.
It's also a carry who's good against magical immunity.
Sure,
Lifestealer, you give your team all that physical damage, doesn't matter if he's enraged. You can still do a lot, especially when you're giving it to heroes like Lone Druid and Beastmaster.
Yeah, it seems like Alliance wants to go for a little bit of more early game pressure as well in terms of their hero picked up. Leshrac's a good roamer early on. If you get that setup stun, there might be a chance that we see something like a Sven. You talked about lacking a initiating stun in the tri-lane.
Yeah, that's an option for them.
Yeah.
There's no Rubik, there's no Shadow Demon. Those are your two kind of obvious choices. The other option for the Alliance is to go for, I mean, things like the Chen. Go for those Ake junglers. Even the Enchantress may be an option for them. If you can get, say, a Dark Troll Warlord actually early, you can actually kill Lifestealer. If you time the net properly, even if you get, say, a Centaur and he uses Rage at the wrong time or doesn't skill it early, where normally you don't get it at level 1, they could potentially kill the Lifestealer if they want to go aggressive tri-lane on their own. They could throw the Lone Druid bottom lane. So for Alliance, I feel they also have options, and that's the thing I like about both teams' drafts is DK may be a little bit clear how they probably want to go, but it also depends if they think the Alliance is going to try to pull a fast one on them. Gyrocopter slips through and they pick it up. I think it's a great choice.
And you were talking about it kind of during the, before this game even happened, before our wait time was, will DK play their standard for Protect 1? Just looking at the draft, we know it's
Clearly
not going to be the case. It's going to be some mid-game aggression when you have carries like Gyrocopter, Lifestealer, and to a certain extent, Dragon Knight. Who do you focus if you're Alliance? You have the Roar, and most likely will go on the Lifestealer, but if DK goes Shadowblade and goes right on your supports and starts stunning and going to work, if Gyrocopter flat can and call down, everybody needs a lockdown, and Alliance just simply don't have that kind of lockdown. Some heroes like maybe a Void, if you have some big AoE lockdown, maybe a Jakiro to set you up.
I feel you can't really go for something like a Void here because you need a stronger tri-lane. DK, they do need a lot of levels to really hit their prime and a decent amount of farm. Not an overwhelming amount, but a decent amount on Lifestealer, Dragon Knight, and Gyro, assuming it is a farming Gyro. Could be a support, but I feel it'll probably be a farmer. they need a decent amount, but they still pack a punch at level 1. Just with Rocket Barrage, Lift, and then whatever that follow-up stun is. I think it's probably going to be Alina to round out the draft for DK, and the Alliance are going to go for not quite R stacking, but basically the same thing. You're now going to get Bloodlust on the Bear, and that's going to be a wrecking ball of a 5-man push.
Yeah, and more importantly, they have the initiation in the tri-lane now. Ogre and Leshrac will be kind of your 1-2 punch combo. They do a ton of damage by themselves with the Ignite as well as Fire Blast early on. They make good roaming combo as well. DK is a tanky here on the mid lane, but completely a killable one. So it's not a bad support, a support that's somewhat underestimated in terms of damage output as well as utility. And I think it's a fine
So
pickup.
the question now is, what is Loda going to get as his hero? We've seen a lot of his recent signature heroes banned out. There are things like Anti-Mage in the pool, but I think you want to get someone who has more presence in the tri-lane. You mentioned Sven. I think that's actually a pretty strong choice because he gives you all that plus armor from Warcry. That is fantastic against physical damage. And that's mostly what DK have. I mean, they have a decent amount of magical damage, things like Call Down, Rocket Barrage, but as the game goes later, it's a Lifestealer, a Dragonite, and a Gyro who all want to auto-attack you, and that's where Warcry could be promising. And of course, it's great for pushing. Give you the plus armor, the tower barely scratches you.
Yeah, I feel like Sven has got to be the pickup here. Maybe it's going to be somewhat influenced by the last pick, but on the same token here, there is a ton of mobility on the enemy side with the Lifestealer who is expected to go very quickly with Phase Drums, Armlet. Same thing with Gyrocopter. Normally goes for the drum build. And Shadowblade DK, it's going to be somewhat difficult for a melee hero to keep up. And now a Visage.
The terror of the International 3 Eastern qualifiers. This hero was 10-1 yesterday. They'll go Ursa. Oh man, you mentioned they're on the dire side. This is like the most obvious level 1 Roche opportunity ever. DK will definitely be scouting this. If they're not, I'll be shocked.
I mean, they banned out Clockwork on a second phase, which is a free check on the Roshan pit. So you got to make sure that you group as 3 or 4 and start going to Roshan pit. Whether it's going to be a level 1 Roshan strat, Alliance is running the Zeus strat by themselves because there's a ton of bear on the map right now.
Yeah, there's the bear, there's the Beastmaster boar, the hawk, the Ursa bear, Mama bear, Papa bear, Daddy bear. We got it all, guys, and we also have our first official
TP on the mid lane.
5 TP mid. Oh my goodness, the Alliance, they shocked the world at DreamHack with their level 1 Roche bait. Now they're going to go for a 5-man Roche TP. This is next level Dota. I am absolutely floored already. No matter how this turns out, this is creative as hell.
The Radiant team is going as quick as possible, but we have Bloodlust, we have Aura from the Beastmaster, we have level 1 Fury Swipes, we have Edict, no, it was Splurf, the Bears being summoned, and they do a ton of damage. I think they have tested. There is no way that the Radiant team could get to the place before the level 1 Roshan will finish. There is some next level strat. They will finish it.
The Alliance are all going to be level 2. This could be very bad for DK. If they run into that pit, it's too
what
late.
A play.
DK are scratching their heads. What the hell was that? RTK is going in. That is not a good decision when they're all level 2. He will back off. The Alliance. Lumi, we wanted a pocket strat. Boy, do we ever get one.
I said before the game that they're dire. Level 1 Roshan is completely possible. I did not think they will 5-man TP mid. That is, oh my goodness, my mind is blowing. And let's actually talk strategy a little bit here. Level 2, walking the lane, you up 200 gold each, you upgraded courier, everybody's buying more restorative, buying more healing, buying whatever they need to buy. Tri-lane versus tri-lane, when the tri-lane is level 1 on the enemy side, you win that tri-lane freely if Loda doesn't feed here. Loda, gotta be careful where you're going.
Now, he doesn't have to be careful. He's got Aegis.
Yeah.
He's level 2. Lifestealer, also the one thing we haven't talked... Oh, could be in trouble here. RTK hasn't taken a skill just yet. Loda is a bit faster than we'll back off. Lumi, the one thing we haven't really talked about is Ursa is actually fantastic against Lifestealer. One of the few carries that can just crush him in a man fight.
Yeah, and of course, Lifestealer is going to have somewhat of trouble in this particular tri-lane. We talked about the level deficit. Now the stuns as well as the initiation powers also on the advantage of Alliance side. Looks like we have a little bit of technical difficulty here. And...
DK may, having technical difficulties, may want to get their sea legs under them as well. That was something. I mean, we expected something different, something special. I did not expect this.
I really did not. I didn't even know you could do this. 5-man TP mid to get a free Aegis.
That may be a first in the history of Dota, dating back 10 years. So 5-man TP at level 1 into the Roshan, and we're actually on camera now, by the way, buddy. But, yeah, thanks, Gawa. We're just enthralled by this game, guys.
Yeah, we can watch it again here. There you go. Instant replay.
Hey guys, we got instant replay.
Production, guys.
You know how much this cost us? Let me get out of the way a little bit. The quality needs some work, but there you have it.
It's still baffling me that the Chinese use red and green like as color on the minimap.
That's why Gods was using them the other day. It's because he's Chinese. That's why he's got the anime hair. Well, the Alliance, they pull a fast one on DK. If you're DK now, Lumi, what's your game plan? How are you going to react to this?
I think you're just gonna try to play defensive on the tri lane. If you notice the support is pulling, if you notice support is ganking mid, then you go for a kill on the enemy carry.
Yeah.
You just prey on mistakes. But Alliance is a team that generally don't make too many mistakes. That's why they're one of the best team in the Western scene. So
yeah, they're very. I mean, I think we were casting them maybe a week or two, maybe longer, a couple of weeks ago, and we called them a very Chinese-esque team in that sense, where they get ahead, they stay ahead, they play that Chinese Dota where they constrict the map, they don't give away advantages generally. So it's going to be hard for DK to come back. I actually thought they would have a bit of an edge in the tri lane if it wasn't for the level 1 Roche, but now they have to go aggressive. They're not going to be able to get too much accomplished unless the Alliance really screw the pooch.
yeah, and it's very easy for the Dire to actually play passive at this point. They could just pull and keep on, just basically ride this advantage. Lotus is going to have an easy time laning against the Lifestealer, and the supports could pop out easily anytime and start engaging.
And they could even man fight. I would love to see the Alliance just go for a kill right now. They're going to start on RTK. Does he take rage in time? He can't. He's split earth. There is a lift. A beautiful one by Dai. Stuns all 3 heroes. RTK on the run. One more auto attack from EGM. Will not bring him down. I think the Stout Shield just procced there. Saves his life. That was close, but I like the way Alliances play it. They don't just take the level 1 Roche, they immediately go on the aggressive.
Yeah, and they could keep on going on the aggressive. They know that the Visage does not have a Grave Shield, which is a very potent soul early on. They have level 2 on their heroes, and this is a very easy call. Keep on going on MMY, keep on going on even Lifestealer, force them to rage. And mana is not going to be as big of an issue here for Alliance simply because they're a higher level. And again, a second golden focus on RTK. He does not have salve this time, so even if he survives, he's going to be burning a salve from his supports. A couple more right clicks. He's barely going to survive this one as well. Where's the salve? Who's going to pass it? It's going to be QQ this time. Again, you keep on making those goals and you keep on burning the regenerative coming out from the DK side.
Remember, Loda has a free or free heal, basically, if he needs to. He could always blow that Aegis. Not actually healing him up for the time being. It seems like they may be content to just use it fairly early. It's got a couple of minutes left, so if he wants to hold on to it, he can. Lumi, we've talked a lot about this tri-lane. What do you think about the 2 solo lanes? Burning versus Admiral Bulldog in the off lane. We saw an absolute tour de force from ZSMJ the other day, dominating the lone Druid, but I think we both agree this generally should be a much more even matchup.
It goes to Gyrocopter if Gyrocopter knows how to play the matchup, and I imagine that Burning will, but he's playing a level and gold behind, 200 gold behind.
Right, that's very important.
And because of that, I think that Druid should win this lane. Admiral Bulldog, one of the best Druid player in the world, and so far he's doing okay. Once he hits 5, he's going to play a lot more aggressive, but you can see that Flak Cannon is actually starting to become an issue for the Druid. Normally he's not expected to tank a ton of damage, and so far he is tanking it because of the Flak.
And as for the middle lane, Super on the Dragon Knight versus S4 on the Beastmaster. Super is just getting crushed. 7-3 to the 13-4 of Beastmaster. Normally, I feel it's a pretty even matchup, but obviously the level 1 Roche, that's going to go a long way. S4, bottle and double damage rune inside of it. Now the boots are coming out. He's going to have a fast level 6, and that roar could really do work.
Yeah, he's also saving a skill point. I'm not exactly sure what it's about. Maybe going for a little bit of early call. But if he gets level 6 and he retains that double damage, Super is dead easily. So he's got to be very careful in terms of gauging on enemy's mana as well as gauging his own position. Top lane, though, this is a really, really rough lane for DK. And I guess so far it's okay. They haven't gave up First Blood despite biting out a couple of nukes and stuns. And they're looking to be aggressive, actually. But here comes the pull. Here comes the defensive tri-lane's advantage. And they will start accruing more and more advantage. If DK don't do anybody, it looks like they're going to make a go here. Smurf's going to hit, and I think he will die here. Lift him up, toss him back. Rage is going to be used. A nuke gets dropped out here. It looks like ROTK will dodge another one. But where's the salve? I think he's forced to go back in lane, go back to Fountain.
I mentioned it in the pregame. DK, they've got some great individual talent, and Dai is playing really just pristine Rubik here. Always telekinesis stunning, throwing back the hero who's about to go, who's about to get the kill, and stunning 1 or 2 others every single time. He has single-handedly saved this tri-lane. Burning gets entangled bottom lane, lone Druid, and he a quick level 6 Bulldog. Where's that signature secondary entangle when he needs it? He's going to find the hero surround. No, Burning actually able to tango through. Smart reaction.
Tango!
Route number 2. First blood to Admiral Bulldog. Now hits level 6. The Alliance off to a hot start in game 1. It's only a best of 1. They might be jumping out to a fast lead here. Over a 2,000 gold lead, over a 2,500 experience lead. In top lane, they're going to make it go in QQQ. Eats a stun, a secondary one as well. There's no Rubik here. They've rotated those 2 other heroes off the lane. An easy kill. DK, Lumi, how do they recover?
I'm not too sure. Western team are so good at snowballing out of control. Maybe the late game is a bit shakier compared to Chinese, but we might not even go to the late game at all if Alliance is playing as well as they're playing so far. Great strategy and great extension of their lead, and they will keep doing so. If you look at the gold chart, 3,000, 4,000 gold lead without even taking any towers. It is so rough. ROTK perhaps poking his head out a little bit too much on the top lane, but he should be fine for now. And it looks like they're going to be trying to get a gank on the bot or maybe mid. It doesn't feel like these two support could gank as easily because of the level deficit.
I won't often say this about DK supports, but they actually feel a bit lost to me. It doesn't seem like they have a clear objective. They're going to smoke and head towards bottom. They've been off the map forever and a day, and this is pretty obvious that they're up to something. So Lone Druid already, Bulldog scouting the jungle with his bear. He expects this gank. Unfortunately, the bear won't reveal smoked units, but it's still going to be very hard. Creeps have actually been pulled by Burning to keep the lane near his tower because he just can't farm away from it. Dies here. The bear is in the jungle. Bulldog's level 6. They're just not going to get this kill.
They're not. Like, they could drop every single nuke on top of him. He's not going to die unless you have a call down, and they will need it. Here comes Admiral Bulldog. He can actually resummon the bear and focus on MMY, and it would be easy kills. Toss back. Slow's going to be there. Where's the rocket barrage? Burning low below, and look at those entangle hacks. It's going to be an easy defense, and looks like he wants a little bit more. If he gets a couple more entangle, he is going to get the kill. Admiral Bulldog will quickly Tranquil boots back up.
You know, I was just about to say the one thing I would like to see is S4 with the teleport scroll. He's already got one. Another entangle on Burning. Will he get that second one he needs? Not yet, but getting closer and closer to it. The bear is actually the one on the run. S4 teleports in as well. He's going to find QQQ, who looks to be in a whole world of trouble, isolated from his team, and then they look to pick him off. They're going to body block him with the hero. Bulldog Dota showing off and having a ball here. S4 does drop low to that soul assumption. Able, however, to live through it. Didn't even have to use the roar. I love that. Patient play. Doesn't overreact and blows it. Now they can look for another kill anytime somebody's out of position.
And that other kill might happen on the top lane. Super going for the regen room. He sees EGM. EGM's fairly low. The Hawk scouts him out. It is so important to not use your Beastmaster Roar, even though it's such a low cooldown spell. By simply having the threat of it, DK gotta expect a gank coming his way anytime. So right now, Alliance having some of the most pristine Dota I've seen in a long while. Very beautiful play. And they will keep on extending this lead.
They've heavily won all three lanes. Beastmaster, 10 CS ahead of the Dragonade, has participated in a kill. Super is pushing the tower. I don't think doing badly given the deficit he had to deal with, but certainly not winning the lane. You couldn't say that. Free farm on Loda, 28 CS at 7 minutes, which, considering they were up against an aggressive tri-lane, which is pretty potent, very impressive from him. And then even Bulldog, 26 and 14 to the 22 and 4 safe lane Burning Gyrocopter. And of course, they got Roche. They're up by 3 kills. There's not a single phase of the game where you can really look at it and say, they're lacking here, they're losing here. I'm just not sure what DK do, and it seems like they don't really know either. They've rotated RTK and died down to the bottom lane. They've abandoned the off lane, so it's a free farm Ursa. Lumi, my question to you is, Roche is coming up in 3 minutes. What does Loda want to go for? He's going to have an opportunity to get a pretty quick next item.
He could go whatever he wants. I think Vlad's is a very potent early game item, and is it flying out on the courage just yet? He's only got 500 gold upgrading in phase 3. He's upgrading a Ring of Basavis, so I expect that's what he's going to go for, and Vlad would make the next Roshan
like that a lot.
Absolutely easy. Early game armor against Lifestealer, against Gyrocopter.
They're going to smoke and head in towards mid. S4, remember, he's got Roar. Split Earth will connect on Super. They could Roar and turn this around, but they're a little bit afraid. RTK taking a lot of Edict damage inside of the trees, will be forced back. 3 heroes for DK, including 2 core heroes, trying to make something happen. Now Burning bottom lane. Bulldog manning up against him with Die here as well, but in comes Super, and this may be an overextension. Bulldog's dropping fast, but he is wanding up. He's trying to live. Can he do it? S4 comes in with the Roar, not able to kill anyone off yet. Die's on the run. Die might escape. Super stunned, but not out of it just yet. He will back off. Well, they teleport the Beastmaster down to the bottom lane. They use the Roar. They don't get a kill, and DK still trailing by quite a bit, but that's exactly what the doctor ordered.
Amazing recovery. Not losing anybody, picking up Bulldog. It was really close. Any more entangle would have meant the death of the Rubik. Unfortunately, they could not do anything about a free farm Ursa on the top lane. Like, you can't ask for too much. You get a favorable exchange, you get a tower knockdown on the mid lane, so DK's making the correct move to necessarily recover. They just have to try their best to keep control of this mid lane that you just drew a big X to. Maybe even push down the tier 1 bot tower, because once 10 minutes comes, Ursa is going to go into the Roshan pit a second time.
I just want to mention, because I didn't catch it initially, S4 actually denied the tier 1 mid, so even when DK are getting a little bit of tower gold there, it's still reduced. They're still struggling. Could be a much closer, and the one thing we haven't seen yet, Lumi, actually, is the Alliance pushing the tower. I imagine they may wait for the next Roshan, but then they're definitely going to want to go for some pushes. With Inner Beast being leveled up by S4, only level 1, but even pretty decent at level 1.
Smoke.
They're going to smoke right now. They'll go into the Roche pit. There is a lifesteal illusion here, so it's going to be hard to do this without being spotted, but truth be told, can DK fight in the pit right now? It's going to be tough, I feel.
Look at the ping here, and they are actually going to start out saying, I dare you to come in. We have everybody in the pit. You know that we have everybody in the pit, and will DK take the bait?
AGM under cover of smoke deploys a ward. RTK is going to come in with phase boot. I think he's just hoping to slow them down, discourage them from going for this, but Aki lurks on the high ground. They have great observer ward coverage. DK, a wise choice, they will back off. There's just, without burning there, without call down and flat cannon, there is zero chance you're going to take that fight. Even with it, I'm not sure they could, but with him being top, they'll go for the trade.
You know, this comment's about 15 minutes too late, but remember the question I asked you? Hey, they picked up Beastmaster third. Are there going to be two more interesting heroes? It's going to be an Urger and Ursa follow-up, and actually, it's a very smart follow-up. If Lifestealer against any other team, he could just rage walk in and try to start something. You do that against S4, you get roared, you get instantly burst down by Loda. So it's